the mindset and behavior of many leftist activists. This is an attempt to describe patterns commonly observed in the behavior and thinking of typical leftist activists, particularly those who are highly ideological. Communication style. In protests, confrontations, and online videos, activists frequently shout rather than speak calmly. To them, the strength and moral weight of their message are tied to emotional intensity, anger, and volume. This approach has a long historical precedent in socialist and revolutionary movements including Marxist, Maoist, and even Nazi agitation tactics, where intimidation and overpowering opponents verbally or physically has often been a deliberate strategy. Use of simple slogans and labels. Activists rely heavily on short, emotionally charged slogans. A recurring tactic is to label almost any opponent, regardless of their actual views, as fascist, Nazi, or far-right. In this framework, being called a Nazi does not necessarily mean someone holds National Socialist beliefs. It often simply means the person disagrees with Marxist or progressive ideology, relies on factual arguments, or expresses views considered common sense by non-leftists. Reality filtered through ideology, also known as the propaganda mindset. For many committed leftists, perception of reality is shaped more by ideological narratives than by observable evidence. If the group narrative declares a politician who pursues diplomacy to be a warmonger, then no amount of contradictory evidence will change that view. Similarly, economic decline can be described and genuinely perceived as prosperity if that framing aligns with the ideology. This selective perception often leads to praise for authoritarian or mass-murdering leftist regimes of the past and present, while simultaneously demanding compassion and humanity from political opponents. Selective outrage and cherry-picking. While cherry-picking facts is common across the political spectrum, many leftist activists apply it to an extreme degree. They may completely disregard widespread human rights abuses, rape, murder, sex trafficking, torture, slavery, when those abuses occur under regimes or movements aligned with their broader goals. At the same time, they display intense emotion, and sometimes violence, over abuses occurring in specific places or under specific governments that are politically useful to condemn. Core value oppositions. A significant portion of cultural left and hard left activists appear to be opposed to traditional white or Western identity, opposed to heteronormativity, critical of childhood innocence and traditional family structures, hostile toward Christianity, and hostile toward individual freedoms in the classical liberal sense. Conversely, they tend to strongly support LGBTQI+ causes, aspects of radical gender ideology, sometimes interpreted by critics as opening the door to normalizing pedophilia, Islam, especially in opposition to Western civilization, modern feminism, certain occult or pagan spiritual movements, and demographic or cultural replacement policies targeting groups they oppose. Positive aspects. On the credit side, many leftists genuinely advocate for improved public healthcare, job creation and economic security for working people, and opposition to large-scale war. Personal observations. In direct interactions, many such individuals seem impervious to reasoned argument or contrary evidence. They often view themselves as exceptionally intelligent and morally superior. In practice, they rarely engage in direct charity or personal help for the poor. Such work is typically deferred to a future utopian society. Beneath the surface of their socio-economic positions, many appear to harbor a deep personal hostility toward God, Christianity, and the figure of Christ in particular. This is a generalized description based on recurring patterns. Not every person who identifies as left-leaning exhibits all or even most of these traits. Peace.